Hello. Hi, all, and welcome back to Actual Play this evening for a game of Abyssal. We're changing it up. You've had too much Band of Blades. Let's get some monsters in here. Let's play some monsters. I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. I'm very excited to be here and return to the life of Tessa and the horrible cult that she's a part of and the horrible things that she's doing to sort of stay above water. So yeah, should be good times. How about yourself, Ed?
I am Ed Turner. Hi there. I use he, him pronouns, and I am also tremendously excited to be returning to Vinny P, the horrible flesh-eating underground monster with dreams of owning a moderately sized casino. So maybe I will make them happen this time. Or maybe I'll, dive into the shadows and never return. Who knows?
Nice.
Let's find out.
We're going to do some really awesome streaming technology right now. It's going to be super great. We're going to fix these cameras that I just realized they got messed up. So, Ed, would you mind stopping your video?
Sure. I can do just
All right.
that.
All right. Turn it right back on again. Excellent. Okay. This is professional streaming. Quality doesn't get any better. Sorry I interrupted you. I just should have had that fixed before we got started, and I just saw it now.
All
so
right, no worries.
We're here. Anyway, please continue about Vinny.
Vinny is great. End of story. How about you, Ash?
Hey, thanks, Ed. I'm Ash Cheshire. I'm at Divine Cheshire on Twitter. And this evening I'm wearing my star tiara. I will be running the beautiful bright lights of the city of Las Vegas and all of the non-player beings that dwell within. I use they, them pronouns and having a great evening. Looking forward to picking back up our story here.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've played. So I'm going to say, for the benefit of the viewing audience, not for me at all, not because I've forgotten every detail that happened more than 10 minutes ago. Could you give us a recap of what
Of course.
We've done
recently? It's been an exciting bit of time in 1970s Las Vegas where our liminals have found themselves. It is, just kind of a quick background of the background, the setting itself. This is taking place in early 70s Las Vegas. So it is a lot of heyday of glitz and glamour, big shows. Elvis has a permanent contract performing at one of the casinos right now, that kind of thing. They're filming the James Bond movie. Sean Connery is in town. It's all that kind of schmooze and glitz and glamour feel. But of course, there is also heavy mafia presence, and so there is a lot of cash coming in, which means there's a lot of people looking to get their hands on some of that cash who may not necessarily have legal claim to it. And so, among with the humans, we have some of our abyssals, the monstrous society that lives between and among humans, mostly without humans being aware of them. And so, our two characters each come from their own faction. Let's kind of do a quick recap of the characters. We'll kind of weave in how the two of you know one another. Let's see, Ed, you kind of started a bit, and that seems like a good place to start with Vinny, our ex-mafia. I think Stooge is a little low for his position, but
made man
is maybe aiming a little too high. I think Stooge feels accurate.
It's accurate to his abilities, but not to his ambitions. How's that?
Fair enough.
Sure. Vincent Peterson, alias Vinny P, used to work for the mob until he misappropriated some funds, and he was sent out into the desert to dig his own grave. In so doing, accidentally stumbled across a cache of darklings. Darklings being really abominable, underground, light-fearing, cannibalistic humanoids who...
friendly folks.
Friendly. Well, you know what? They took in Vinny for reasons he does not know or understand, and he spent some time in the darkness. And by the time he sort of regained an awareness of himself, he had transformed into something like a darkling. He is the ghoulish. He looks awful. He is terrified of the light, and he craves flesh. Human, abyssal, whatever you got.
Right, like dead and rotting, preferably, right? Not nothing too fresh.
I mean, I'll eat fresh as long as it's not cooked. I'm happy.
Okay.
But if it's got a little bit of, if it's proofed a bit, that's the good stuff.
And what is Vinny's big project? His sort of top level goal.
His top level goal is relatively modest for a top level goal, and that is the casino he used to work at, the Royale. He wants it. He wants to own and operate and basically be the big boss of this casino. Which I guess I call that modest. That's a pretty impressive goal, especially if you're a monster. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it's owned by monsters already, but just the same, like that is. I don't think it's a modest goal. I mean, I think it's a good. It's good. Solid.
That's good. It's what gets him up in the morning.
Or and so, just after sunset.
Yeah.
And so in the first episode, he had met a different liminal who was helping him along the way, who within our story has mysteriously vanished. No one really quite knows what happened to our first man, Neil Sunshine.
Yeah.
But shortly after Neil's disappearance, Vinny met another member of the same family, although related, but perhaps not as close knit as family member might imply. Sean, you tell us a little bit about your character.
Family. Yeah, Tessa. Tessa is queer Latinx woman who is part of the cult of the Smiler Beyond the Stars. She is related to Neil by way of the cult because everyone in the cult is a family, and her parents fully sort of fell in step, where they invested a lot of their own finances into the cult, and now they are financially and to some extent legally obligated to be part of it. And she doesn't really truck with that, but there's political and financial challenges to separating themselves. So that is her long-term goal, is to separate her and her family from the cult that she's part of. And one of her assignments, something she was told to do, was go figure out what happened to Neil, who is the flower child, who is the favored son of the cult. Neil, who could do nothing wrong, even though Neil did everything wrong. And she doesn't like it, but it's one way to sort of gain a little bit more leverage for herself. So she found out that Neil was working with Vinny P, and so she sought him out in the tanning salon, and which has great irony because the tanning salon is all about heat and light, which is abominable to Vinny. She does a little bit of blood magic. She can use all of the happy face smiley stickers that Neil plopped all over the place as a form of clairvoyance, and she can open up her third eye by opening up the eyes of these stickers, i.e. she has the blood magic ability, and and she's trying to figure out what the hell is going on in this casino, because it's clearly there's more factions involved than she originally thought.
Excellent. Yep. So that's perfect. Yeah. So when these two first met, Tess, Sean's character, did as he just described, performed a blood magic ritual. And yeah, Neil had left these smiley face, these like smiley sun stickers all over the casino, the Royale Casino.
Everywhere he went, he just slapped them as like defacement. It was vandalism when Neil did it. And then I sort of retcon that into, oh yeah, but that's how we spy on people.
Yeah. And then as Tess opened her third eye and was looking through these stickers, she realized that the stickers in the casino itself seemed to be strategically placed rather than just sort of slapped up on the walls, and seemed to be corresponding to what Tess recognized immediately, no role needed, as marking ley lines and creating lines of influence, kind of drawing a sigil inside the casino. And so I believe the two of you decided to go over there and investigate.
Yeah, we thought that was a great idea.
I dressed up as a clown.
Yeah, Vinny had a particularly interesting plan of being unnoticed as a long, gaunt, and sort of unnaturally moving thing. Tell us about your current appearance, Vinny, as we come back from our cliffhanger.
Well, I'm on stilts. I am wearing a gaudy, clownish outfit, and I have, white pancake makeup slapped on my gray, pallid face, and a very crudely drawn smile over a face that does not, on the whole, want to smile.
Yay!
Fun.
Thanks for bringing me to Vegas this year. So we have an extremely gaunt and kind of spooky looking guy up on stilts. The two of you you had made it inside. Tess was disguised as a member of the wait staff, in like a tuxedo.
Yeah, she sort of got shunted into being entertainment for some of the high rollers, and she was sort of, oh no, I'm getting mixed up. That's Neil. That was earlier. Never mind.
Yeah, no, yes. That's okay. So you were being mistaken as wait staff until at one point, just as Tess was starting to make a little bit of progress with Vinny, trying to do a little surveillance, taking advantage of Vinny's high position paired with Tess's ability to move pretty quickly and unassumingly around the game floor. One of the casino staff came over and, Miss Sunrise, we didn't expect that you were here. You must be here for the shareholders meeting. And so Tess was whisked off to the security office. Strangely,
that's what she was whisked off to.
Shareholders meeting was being held.
Right, because the cult is a member of has ownership over the casino. Has some ownership.
Yeah, in fact, before he disappeared, Neil had just bought controlling amount of shares in the casino, if I remember correctly, and so he was very much in control here, if only by just a couple of shares, but just enough to make things swing in kind of his direction.
Yep.
And so,
and you pointed out, Miss Sunrise, yes, Tessa's legal name is Rainy Sunrise. It is not the one that she likes to use.
It's not how she prefers to be addressed.
She prefers to go by Tess, which was her name before they joined the cult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
She uncomfortably does respond to it.
And so, the casino staff were very concerned to see you here. And had whisked you off where you met Jimmy for the first time, who Vinny knew quite well. It was his contact at the casino, but it was I believe it was Tessa's first time meeting Vinny face to face. But you had certainly heard about him, or Jimmy face to face.
Jimmy. All these
Jimmy very briefly told you that you were so Tess, when we ended, Tess had just been saying, "Look, I'm here to help. I just want to make sure that everything gets done appropriately here," lying through her teeth, but selling it because Jimmy was happy to go along with anybody who was willing to say that they had a plan. And just as we ended, Tess had just been brought back into the game room with Jimmy to see that things had gone quite off the rails while he had been gone, trying to keep you safe. Because as we came back in, Vinny had spotted a few people who seemed a little suspicious, approached one of them. She really lost her patience with being interrogated by this this gaunt, clown-faced stilt walker.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I think you
so-
tried to scare her and like be like you didn't quite know who she was, and so
Yeah.
you tried to be terrifying, which you are terrifying. That is true. But she is of some stash.
She is
status,
made
right?
she is made of stern stuff,
Yeah,
evidently.
Yeah.
she did not show average human levels of disbelief, horror, and concern at the way that you were able to move. Rather, she showed curiosity and a bit of maybe just a little bit of malicious glee. But mostly grim determination as she continued to weave a thread of fate between her fingers that had started to glow.
And that's when I hit her with a crowbar.
That's when you hit her with the crowbar, Ed. That's right. That is when you hit her with the crowbar.
Was a good plan?
Well, it was an effective plan for sure, because it stopped whatever it was that she was working on, dead in its tracks. It lifted and moved her, but oddly enough, didn't seem to do her a lot of physical damage. Did make her pretty upset. The other two people you had spotted, along with a few others, you didn't realize. All of the sort of so-called civilians have been hustled out or really left on their own steam as things started to kick off. When the clown pulled a crowbar from his pants, a lot of people decided that maybe it was time to go to a different casino.
Yeah.
But there are a few left who do seem to be forming a circle around the perimeter here, and so that was where we had sort of faded to black at the end of our last session. Oh, Kona! Hey, yay! Kona's here.
Yeah.
So wonderful. So that was our cliffhanger at the end of last episode. So back we come.
Yeah.
And so as we come back in, I had said last time that Jimmy just bolted out the door. I think actually I'm going to have him stick around just for a second because I thought about it when I was reviewing my notes, and I think his cowardice is pretty high, but his fear of losing his job and having the mafia be mad at him is actually even higher. And so he sticks around a little bit just to kind of make sure that he isn't seen as some kind of deserter. And so he's hanging by your elbow, Tess.
Yeah, that's perfect. I have a very good idea for how Jimmy can both get away from the immediate threat here and also serve his boss as well. So that is great to hear that he's sticking around for just another moment.
So as you both come in, he sees Sandra Duke and says, oh no, that's Mrs. Duke, and he should not be making her mad. That's who your brother made this contract with. That's a bad scene. Oh, Miss Sunrise, I really think that we should get you out of here. I don't think this is a good idea.
I think if we leave right now, Jimmy, we're going to be letting a bad scene get worse. I think what we should do is you've got security people here, and you've also maybe got other folks here that know Mrs. Duke and could speak to her. I think I'm going to go try and keep things calm for just a second. Why don't you go get backup?
Okay. Yes, I'll go get backup.
There you go. You go.
All right. So I'm just going to start a very short progress clock on him going and getting some backup for you.
Sounds good.
All right. So as a little bit of background information for you, Tess, Vinny, you don't know who this is. She just, now you have an inkling. But Tess, you recognize this person because your exposure with the cult is sufficient. The cult has connections with the Fate Weavers, and you know the leader of the Fate Weavers when you see her. Because unlike the leader of the Mentalists, who nobody really knows what she looks or what they look like, everybody who's tight with either the cultists or the Fate Weavers knows about Sandra Duke. So you recognize her. You know that this is a woman who has made just unbelievable advances in particularly fortune reading. She is an incredibly powerful oracle. And she can manipulate the threads of fate around her and she has effects of that nature. I would say
Uh,
you might be Tess might be a little bit concerned for Vinny's safety, knowing what she knows about Sandra Duke.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So being the idiot, I mean, she looks real hard at that door. Like, maybe leaving is a great plan. Um, and it takes her a second to steel herself, but I think she's going to try and get Mrs. Duke's attention before the next blow is dealt from either side,
Nice. Okay.
by saying, Mrs. Duke, Mrs. Duke, Tessa, rainy sunrise. We know each other, if by proxy. I know this person. Let's all just slow down for just a second.
Hey, I'm in the middle of a fight here, okay?
The wrong fight, Vinny. And Tessa tries to like put herself between Vinny. I mean, she's got some distance to clear. So Ed, if Vinny is just like, no, hell no, I'm going to town. I think that she doesn't move lightning fast or anything like that. But if there's a delay, I think she's going to get over there and try and get between the two of you.
She'll try and get between them. Okay.
Yeah, there's enough of a delay that I will hesitate, because I guess if you don't want me to hit this person, maybe I oughtn't to hit it. But I'm not putting down the crowbar.
That's fair. I mean, keep the threats viable, right? So once I sort of see that Vinny is at least temporarily paused, I turn to Sandra to see what she's doing. Is she, starting to weave some magic spell, or is she pausing? Have I got her?
Yeah, I mean, she's still kind of recovering from she's still kind of regaining her balance. Now there's a new person talking to her. And so she just kind of holds up one finger in Vinny's face and turns and looks at Tess, and gives you a very long kind of probing stare, and then says, I see. Another of the clan of the sun. Interesting. Have you come to assist with making sure that these proceedings continue as planned?
Yep. That's what I came here for.
Excellent.
Perhaps
you could tell your servant here that his aggression towards me is misplaced.
I am nobody's servant, lady.
Right? Like, as I was just saying, friend, my friend Vinny here, I think amongst all of the regular people, and Tessa kind of looks and realizes that there aren't very many of them around anymore, he was maybe concerned about sort of whatever you might have been doing. But
was
now,
wiggling her fingers in a weird way, and it seemed magic, so I made the right call.
But thanks to this distraction, people have left, which is great, right? So now we can proceed uninterrupted. And I'm going to try and sell this big kerfuffle as like, that's how we cleared the room out. That was great.
She starts kind of twirling her finger, and the words that are coming out of your mouth turn into a thread that she is weaving. And she's kind of holding it and weaving it between her fingers and looking at it as you're speaking. And you notice that as the words come out of your mouth, the words that are not true turn bright red. Like, yes, that's big and red. And she's just kind of looking at it and just looks at you and says, You thought you could deceive me this way. Oh, child. Sweet.
Not all of that's red. Okay.
You're right. Not all of this is red. If it were, you would not be in this room with us any longer. What I see here is youthful indignance and troublesomeness. But I still believe that you might be useful in keeping things under control. She turns and starts gesturing to the people around her, and they all start sort of reweaving. They're all sort of creating a ring around the edge of the room with the threads. And she walks over to you and says, "Now listen. The agreement that I have with your family is perfectly beneficial to all involved. I don't understand why you and your friend have come to interrupt this process. What are you trying to achieve here?"
Well, let's talk about that agreement a little bit. Just just so that we have all our I's dotted and T's crossed, maybe you could, I don't know, elaborate some on just the details, right? Maybe I didn't quite catch all of them from my brother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and I would like to try and find out what the fuck's going on, because Tessa has no idea, and she thinks that there's no way she can trick Sandra D into. There's no way she can fool Sandra D into making her think that she knows what's going on. Like,
right.
So far, people have been believing it, but Sandra doesn't. But
Yeah.
she does think she can trick her into evil monologuing. So
for sure,
it's
right?
It's not like, okay, yeah, you've fallen for it, but maybe this is your opportunity to be like, wah. And so yeah, I'm trying to just get a little clue of what deal Neil made and where he might be and what are they doing right now. And if I can kind of chip away at any of that, that would be great. Can I make a sway roll maybe to try and
yeah, or I was
convince her?
thinking, if you're going for like trying to kind of play to, because swaying isn't working super well with her. I felt I was
She
kind of
seems to be real
responding
good
to a role play sway from you, and trying to manipulate her into thinking you know the truth. She's an oracle. You're not gonna put anything past her that isn't true without her knowing about it. But I what I'm also hearing you say is that you're kind of possibly playing on maybe a little bit of her vanity. Something that you would know about the oracles is that they are very, very much in belief that their way is, they can see everything, they know everything, so of course they think they're superior to everybody. And something that they don't always pay attention to is, she will pick out a lie like that. But if you can emotionally sway her, that might be a way for you to get in. You've heard before that other oracles have been kind of thwarted through emotional means.
Sure. Right. So I think
worst comes to worst, you also do know she can be moved with a crowbar. So
a few feet at least.
I feel like that's more of exploiting that sort of emotional reading, which I'm not good at all. But there's always a first for everything. And
if you want to go for sway, I would say it's going to be more like kind of buttering her up, or you'd need to go for a more kind of obvious sort of swaying her in a sort of like, oh gosh, now that I've seen you work or whatever, sort of come at it from that angle. Right. Versus exploit.
No, I think that makes
probably a little bit more like what you were trying to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my my intent in the fiction, and a little bit. I think even to the extent of being like, yeah, no, you figured like I can't pull one over on you. So when she gives me this look like you have no idea what's going on right now, I play into that and say, you're right, I'm over my head.
Nice.
And I want to try and give her exploit that sense of superiority that she has, and give her the chance to gloat. So let's see how that works.
Excellent. Let's see how that works.
What's the position and effect on this?
Let's see. I'm carrying us over from the previous scene, and which maybe we should establish a new one, because I feel like when you came in, we kind of started a new scene.
Sure.
So I'm gonna say, I feel like you're still, because of the literal narrative position that Tess is in of being one of the the people in control of the casino. I'm going to say that gives you an awful lot of control.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and say you're in a controlled position.
Cool.
And effect is going to be a little trickier because you are up against a faction leader.
Yeah.
Um,
Seems like controlled limited. Seems like
that sounds like a good, yeah.
Cool. All right. I'll take that. I am going to, I haven't marked a lot of stress, so I'm going to go ahead and push myself. Oh, actually, this is just such an appealing ability. I can't not look for it. I have the Maker of Dark Deals.
Dark Deals. I was about to ask if you would be interested in Devil's Bargain. So,
I mean, I feel like the Devil's Bargain is me essentially admitting I don't know where Neil is. I don't know.
That was going to be my proposal too. Is that you just sort of say, you know what, you're right. You caught me. I'm an open book. Read whatever you want. And as a member of a cult, you've been trained a little bit in some occlumency, so you know how to sort of psychically open the doors in a way, to sort of show like, I am not blocking you at all. You're right. You know what?
Yeah.
I bow to a superior force.
Yeah,
even if you win, she's going to get a whole lot of information from you.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right.
Ed, are you interested in assisting? I'm happy.
I think that I can probably assist since you're essentially trying to exploit her vanity.
Yeah.
I can sort of pick up what you're putting down and try and say something to kind of raise that level of vanity, something along the lines of, oh God, I didn't realize we were dealing with someone so important right here.
Nice.
Really am sorry about all of that, ma'am. I'm not actually sorry. I hope she doesn't read that. But I am going to put my
attention is directed elsewhere.
That's an I'm not sorry directed to the universe. Yes.
All right, cool. Well, then I'm going to roll 3d6 because I've got 0 dice in exploit, but got 2d6 because of the Devil's Bargain.
Right, Devil's Bargain, and then 1 for the assist. Excellent.
So let's see how that goes. Ha! There we go.
Hey!
All right.
Paid off. Although it's not showing in chat. Oh, there it goes. There you go. Nice. That's a success.
Beautiful. That is a success. Cool. Yep, absolutely. She is swayed. And so she kind of, she gives a bit of a, well, I'm glad that you have recognized the true nature of what is happening here. We are absolutely, of course, we are performing a ritual of great importance, and I'm sorry that you were not included on some of these plans, but to briefly elaborate upon them for you, so that you understand the benefit of assisting us now. My colleagues and I are here in order to, shall we say, increase the allure of this casino of yours. The contract that your brother established with us has allowed us to come in and create a certain elevated ambiance around your machines, such that they are more pleasing to play, more appealing to stay at for longer periods of time, which of course will make them more valuable to you. In exchange, your brother has promised us that we may come and read these lines on a regular basis. We have aligned them such that we can do so without disturbing any of your patrons, and it will allow us to utilize the chance and the fate that is being generated here in order to improve our own businesses and dealings, which are of our own concern.
Cool.
That's neat. Why didn't you just tell me about that when I asked the first time?
I mean, I think besides not knowing where Neil is, this doesn't actually sound terrible to Jessa. Like, it's not exactly like she's happy about it, but she knows that what her family does is shitty anyways. It's not like them trying to leech more money out of people is really a big exception from the norm. So yeah, I think she sort of as the Oracle is expounding upon this. She sort of looks to Vinny like okay. I mean,
Yes.
she's trying to get like his read because I know she knows that he wants to take this place over. And like that may complicate things, but I don't know that that necessarily constitutes a problem. But anyway, she's trying to read like what Vinny's reaction to this is. Like,
I mean, to Vinny at least, this sounds like it's going to get more butts at the tables, and there's very
yeah,
little price to pay. And since I am, Vinny still thinks this is his casino. That's a net positive.
I mean, it's almost too good to be true.
It is
I
almost
mean,
too good to be true. And
there's
Vinny's a simple man.
price to pay. It's just a price for future Vinny to deal with, not present Vinny to deal with.
Yeah.
Let's see, Tess. You're under a little bit of strain and stress right now, and so maybe you aren't thinking quite as clearly as you normally would.
Fair.
I'm gonna have you do give me a research roll. I'm gonna see if Tess is able to connect a couple of dots in her head right now.
Sure. I'm actually good at that. I got a 6.
Oh.
Excellent. So yeah, I mean this all sounds pretty good. And that hold on, that doesn't explain why the lines are set up according to the grid or the pattern rather that was marked with the stickers though. Because it's charging from the ley lines, but it's not following them directly, which would actually be a better charge, really. The casino would get a better result if the machines were really lined up on the lines themselves. And you noticed when you were looking through the stickers that that's not the case. They're close. You're still getting a good charge off of it, but it could be better. And you really feel like the Fate Weavers would know that.
Yeah. So they're ostensibly, from what I can tell, the ones directing this whole affair. Like they're the ones saying, "Put the machines here and do them like that."
I mean, that's what Jimmy said was that after the contract was signed that some new blueprints were drawn up as a result of those meetings between Neil and the Fate Weavers and Sandra and the casino, and that then Jimmy and his guys had to come in and move all the machines to be between every machine had to be between two sets of stickers.
Right. Did he say who told him to do that? Was it Neil or was it someone else?
Do you ask him?
I don't think he's around. So
that's right. You sent him off to get backup.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, we've got one project clock mark left before he arrives with his backup for you.
Cool.
Coming in, who knows how, considering how you sent him out.
I know. Well, I assumed there was going to be some big showdown. I didn't know who was who and what was what. But hey, that's fine. Whatever he comes and does, I'm sure.
You don't remember for sure if he said who, or he wasn't in the meeting, so he probably wouldn't know.
Yeah. It's but tell me if I'm piecing this together correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Neil, who ostensibly would have known this as well, was like, "Here are all the stickers. The stickers are all marked along the ley lines, and instead of being told put the machines where the stickers are, they were said put them between two stickers, and everything is like offset a little bit. And if Neil was looking towards the interest of the casino and giving the orders, he would have said put them on the stickers instead of in between them. Is that what
I'm what I'm saying together? Is they if there are stickers at opposite ends of the room like this,
yeah,
machines need to sit to where an imaginary line between the stickers would pass through the thing.
See. Right.
So the stickers on the outside create this sort of invisible set of lines.
Set of lines. Okay. So what
those do not quite correspond with the ley lines.
Got it. Okay. So that could be for a variety of reasons, right? Like if I was really giving Neil more credit than he's worth, he could have tried to trick them. But I don't think he's that smart. And also, I don't think they would fall for it. So I think this is their decision, and they're doing something. So I think like they're in the middle of doing some kind of fate weaving. Is that
You've got
right?
some assistants around the edges who are weaving some threads that seem to be starting to weave that pattern into the astral plane here in the game room. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. So Tess knows that if she lies, Sandra will know.
Yeah.
So instead, she just sort of looks at Vinny and looks to the crowbar, and then looks at Sandra and is like,
You don't got to tell me, Trice. I hit her with a crowbar.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And I pile on. I mean, like, you're lying. You think I'm some kind of idiot? You think I don't know where the ley lines are? You think I fall for that line? And I'm like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, I kick you in the head. And she's jumping on.
Oh. Okay.
Because she's like, well, I don't know what's going on. Let's resort to violence because I don't have any other ideas right now. This is not a great solution, but
yes,
she's not
it is.
Well, she's not so much trying to kill this woman as she's trying to make her take them as a serious threat. Like before, Vinny knocked her across the room, and it did affect her, but it didn't really hurt her enough that she was like, oh, I should acknowledge you. And I think right now, if I say, I think you're doing it wrong, I'm not in a position of authority at all. So I'm trying to get some leverage on her, and I have no other idea how to do it. So instead, it's grabbing one of the trays of coins that like somebody, like one of the employees, like left as they ran out.
Oh yeah,
just has tons of
chips and everything. Yeah,
chips on it. And just smashing it right across her backside and having like chips fly everywhere. And as Vinny clobbers her
her right in the face with this crowbar.
Okay.
Yeah. So that feels like exploit.
This feels like a pretty massive exploitative physical attack on her. And the two of you are coordinating. Do you want it to be a group action or?
I think it should be a group action. Yeah, makes sense.
Sure. Group actions are good.
All right, so she's getting hit with a gambling tray from one side, and then taking a crowbar from the other side.
I imagine we're not in a controlled position anymore.
I mean, for this first one, I'll give it to you just because it escalated so darn fast.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Ash.
No, it's great. This is exactly what it's supposed to do.
Not sure what to do.
Well,
okay.
Violence. We're just gonna hit her. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what happens. She's surrounded by fate weavers, but I mean the thing that both of you probably know, Tess a little bit more, but you both know that the fate weavers are really not. It's not a combat class. You know, they're not out here to fight. They're here to weave and know things. So.
Right, and they're weaving, and I don't want that to happen because they're not. She's saying one thing and doing another, and I'm not going to get the real truth out of her. Sans her having a reason to give it to me, so I'm trying to give her a reason right now. I will lead this because I'm real bad at it, and I'm likely to cause somebody stress, and I'm happy to take the stress myself.
Okay.
Cool.
So especially since it was Tess who was like, let's.
Yeah, you are the leader in fiction.
I'm gonna. Do I want to push myself? Yeah, I got plenty of stress to spare. I'm pushing myself, so I can roll a whole one die. All right, I got a 5. See what you get.
I got a 5.
Awesome. All right, we get a mixed result.
That's a mixed result. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna say you do succeed in again physically knocking her back. She is still um, subject to some of the laws of physics, and mixed results. So this time it did not disrupt the weave. She's got a lot of other people working on it with her. She actually was able to, even just take a break completely to kind of play with your truth a little bit. So whatever she's doing is separate from the larger spell that's being woven around the perimeter right now. But it definitely, once again, she turns and kind of cracks her neck a little bit and says, "I see. The first time I excused, but now it seems that the two of you really just want to have a fight. Well, as I'm sure you're aware, Miss Sunrise, I am not particularly given over to physical combat, but that's all right because I don't need to be. Because I have some people here who can do that for me, and because that's the end of our project clock here, and
Nice.
the
Nice backup. That's
yeah,
right.
the backup
Awesome.
arrives just
Fantastic.
as Sandra starts kind of cracking her neck and her shoulders and backing up, trying to figure out what she's going to do. Jimmy comes pouring back in, crying out, Miss Sunrise, Miss Sunrise, I went and got him as fast as I could. And he comes back in with, several of the big casino heavies who you've all seen, standing around the doors and watching the tables and things. They've come back in.
Yeah.
But from the opposite end of the game room, behind the Fate Weavers, a door has opened. It seems that Sandra has pulled a door open, and some additional Fate Weavers who you recognize by sort of the little lightning that's flashing across their eyes have come in, and they have Neil with them. And also a guy comes in who is chatting away with Neil. The two of them seem to be having a grand time. They both have drinks in their hands. They're both holding cigars, and you're really not sure which of them is on more substances right now. They both look absolutely wild.
Neil's always here.
70s
Right, yeah.
Vegas. Like this is pretty intense. And instantly, as soon as they both come in, all of the Fate Weavers turn and drop to one knee in face of the two of these guys. Again, Tess, you have heard rumors that the Fate Weavers had been waiting for somebody. You knew that they were building up to something pretty big that was supposed to happen sometime soon. They've been very tight-lipped about it, and so you really it's no point in doing a roll because you wouldn't have heard about the full details. Neither of you are close enough with the faction, but this seems to have something to do with it. You think maybe this guy is someone that they've been looking for, and Neil appears to have become very good friends with him.
Of course he has, because Neil's a piece of crap who would do exactly
so Jimmy
that.
comes running up to you and says, Miss Sunrise, oh no. Oh, things have gotten real bad in here. We really need to be going now, miss. I don't know why you're insistent on sticking around here. We have got to go. Your tall friend can do whatever he wants, but I really think that you should go now. Your tall friend. Jimmy knows you. Vinny can do whatever the heck he wants, but I think you should go.
Yeah, I think that is a great time for us to take our first break.
All right.
Or our break, and then figure out what the heck happens when we get back. Because I'm torn between running away and being like, Neil. So we'll see what happens. All right, assuming I can click the button that makes the thing happen. Well, see all of you friends in a moment.
All right.